Hey guys, welcome back to Portal of Wisdom. I'm back today with another story for you. If you are new to the channel, like and subscribe and click that little post notification bell so you know when I post new videos. And now on to today's topic. We are going to go back to the time of the American Revolution with this one. This is a story about Benedict Arnold, and this is also a possibility that may have led to him becoming a traitor to the U.S. cause. So it all starts out in the 1770s. You know how things go. Benedict Arnold is a very good Revolutionary War general at this time and one of George Washington's most entrusted generals in the early stages here. So at a certain point, they decide that they're going to attack Quebec City, where it's a British stronghold, and Benedict Arnold had been in a lot of the Vermont area and up in that area along with Ethan Allen, and they had been in charge of a lot of troops and battles and stuff like that. So George Washington has this plan that they want to go ahead and attack Quebec City, a British stronghold. And Benedict Arnold is put in the responsibility of leading that campaign. They're going to go through the wilderness of Maine to the international border and then I think they were going to try to choke out the city of, Quebec City, attack them or blockade them. And then basically what happened though is this is 1775. So there is about 1,100 soldiers that Benedict Arnold is put in charge of. Obviously, it's going to cost a lot of money to get all their supplies and cannons and guns and all of their supplies through the wilderness. George Washington gives Benedict Arnold a medium-sized wooden chest that contains $54,000 worth of gold coins. So he's got this chest. He's got all this money to finance this operation, and they basically hop on some ships. They go from, I believe, New York. They go up to Massachusetts, and I think they get some more supplies in Massachusetts, some more barrels of fresh water, and they may grab some more troops and other things that they need. Then they sail off to the mouth of the Kennebec River near present-day Brunswick, Maine. So at this point, the ships, they're not able to go up river. They'll run aground. So Benedict Arnold had already paid some money to purchase some log rafts, and these log rafts he was going to offload, all of his troops and supplies and everything. But the log rafts that he ended up purchasing, he found out they weren't very seaworthy. Really, they were very a lot of the logs were rotten and stuff. So he had to commission some new rafts to be built, and this took some more time. So we're talking, already it's the middle of September. When you're getting way up into Maine and those areas, winter can. You never know when winter's going to come. So it takes a lot of extra time to get all these extra log rafts made by some of the local people there that he paid for them. And what happened as he's paying for these log rafts, some of his men see him get into this chest, and they see the immense amount of wealth and gold coins in this chest. So some of the soldiers see this, and so they know what's going on, that there's a lot of money to finance this operation. So it takes way too long to get the rafts made. Once the rafts are made, then what happens is they're going to basically pull these large rafts upriver with these big long poles, push them upriver against the current with all their cannons and guns and supplies and food and everything. They're weighted down fairly heavily, so they need a lot of men on each raft to basically push it up upstream with the poles. So it's very slow going, and the weather's getting cooler. They're hitting shallow areas, muddy, swampy areas, and they got to portage the rafts in certain areas, and go past rapids and waterfalls and stuff like that, and then put the rafts back in the river and continue upriver. So it was really slow going, and at times they lose some of their supplies in the rough waters, and so as they're going along, they end up that they're losing some food supplies and various things. So their supplies become a lot more tight, and the men are getting very worn out because it's just a grueling, arduous process, and they're going up this river, and eventually they hit another point where they had to carry some of the equipment from, I believe, one river channel, and then to go across a ridge to another. That took some extra time. They had to put the rafts back in the water in another channel, and one unfortunate thing that happened in one of these kind of turbulent water areas was that the straps that held the chest of coins was caught in kind of I guess that whole raft was caught in some rapids, and some of the lashings of all the equipment and stuff were lost, and his chest of all these gold coins plunged into the icy current, and they weren't able to retrieve it. It was said that this event happened on the Dead River, a few miles north of present-day Eustis, Maine. So he's devastated by the loss of of this chest, and there's no way that he can recover it, really. I mean, I guess it's too deep, or current's too strong, and there's just no way to recover it. So they continue to push on, and eventually they do make it to Quebec City, but it's not until like December 13th. So they were mid-September all the way to mid-December. So I mean, this is 3 months before they got there, and then they met up with I believe General Richard Montgomery's army, with also his Continental Army, and there's a battle for Quebec City against the British, and I believe we lost General Montgomery, and we had Benedict Arnold take I don't know if he took a bullet to the leg or the knee, and he had a bit of time before he could recover, and eventually what happened is he had to I believe in 1779 he was called upon to account for the loss of that $54,000 in gold coins that were entrusted to him by General George Washington, and anyhow, it was because of the testimony and the records and all the stuff that happened here at this point that we know about these circumstances, which, when you look at it in like 1775 or so, $54,000 in gold coins, that's equivalent to close to $2 million, $1.9 to $2 million in today's money. So I guess if you kind of think about it, if your boss entrusted you with $2 million and you lost it, you're probably not going to be your boss's favorite person at that point. And especially way back in these days where money was very scarce and hard to come by, you lost those kind of funds that could really put a damper on your ability to climb up the ladder, military-wise. And this may have been, I'm sure, George Washington at that point, that's probably in the back of his mind as a couple of people passed over Benedict Arnold for military promotions and stuff like this was probably a thorn in his side, the fact that he lost this much money. And it may have, I'm sure it bugged Benedict Arnold at that point, but I'm sure it bugged George Washington also. And we all know what happens in the future, that he ends up going to the side of the British. But they said that he felt slighted and didn't get the promotions that he felt that he deserved, and maybe this loss of this money in this chest was one of the factors that may have led to George Washington not quite feeling that it was right to promote him, or why he got passed over for certain promotions. So anyhow, this is the story of the chest of gold that is still probably out there in the torrents of the rivers there. I don't know. Maine is pretty wild, so don't know if anyone has looked for it through the years, or what that situation is. It may still be out there. So if you like these kind of stories, like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks.